Okay, good evening once again. Now we'll start the session. Now, in today's session, we are going to start Unit 4. Unit 4. Unit 4 is estimation and test of hypothesis. Test of hypothesis. Okay. As in third unit, we discussed sampling distribution. Sampling distribution. I hope all of you know the concept sampling distribution. Okay. This is also related to that one, sampling distribution. Okay. Just I want to tell that one briefly. What is the sampling distribution? There is a population is there. Okay. Now, always not possible to estimate the population parameters directly. Simply, I'll give one example. Here, the population is KMIT. KMIT. Now, I want to find what is the mean height of the students in KMIT. In that case, I can't measure each and every student in KMIT. Okay. How we have to find? In KMIT, suppose 10,000 students are there. From first year, I will take two samples. Okay, S1, S2. From second year, I will take another two samples, like this one, S3, S4, and so on. Like this one, I will take some samples. By using these samples data, we are estimating population parameters, mean and standard deviation. Mean and standard deviation. Okay. Mean and standard deviation. The process is called sampling distribution. When I'm using the sample means x1 bar, okay, first random sample mean is x1 bar, and second random sample mean is x2 bar, and third random sample mean is x3 bar, and so on. The nth random sample mean is xn bar. By using these random samples means, we are estimating the population mean. That is called sampling distribution of means. This is the actual concept. Okay. By using random samples data, we are estimating population parameters mu and sigma. Mu and sigma. Okay. Here, all of you see inferences concerning means. By using random samples means, we are estimating, okay, mean population parameters. All of you see here the theory of statistical inferences is divided into two major areas. First one is estimation. Okay, estimation. And the second one is test of hypothesis. In fourth unit, we have two parts are there. First part is estimation and the second part is test of hypothesis. Test of hypothesis. Now, today we are going to start this one, estimation. Okay. After that, we'll start the testing of hypothesis. Now, what is the estimation? What is the estimation? All of you see here, procedure of estimation of a population by using sample information or population parameters. Okay, see here. By using sample information, we are estimating population parameters. The procedure is called estimation. Estimation of population parameters by using sample information is referred as estimation. All of us see the definition. In mid-exam, may they ask question like this one, define what is the estimation. You should write the definition. Only we are experienced, you already written one exam, mid-exam. in internal exam, you may get one question like this one, define estimation. Okay, all of you remember that definition. Procedure of estimation of population parameters by using sample information is referred as estimation. Is referred as estimation. Okay? Is referred as estimation. And all of you see, estimation procedures are divided into two types. Estimation procedures are divided into two types. Okay. First one is point estimation, and second one is interval estimation. Point estimation and interval estimation. Yeah, let me see the definition. Point estimation. If we use the value of sample statistic to estimate population parameter, this value is called point estimate of the parameter. Just now I explained that one in general. By using random sample data, okay, from the random samples, we are using random samples mean and estimating population mean. By using random samples mean x1 bar, x2 bar, and so on, xn bar. Okay, xn bar. Using sample means, and we are estimating the population mean. Population mean mu. Okay, that is called the point estimate of parameter. Okay, see in the given example, I discussed that point only. If we use a sample mean to estimate a population parameter, population mean, the sample mean x bar is called, just a minute, is called the point estimator. Okay, is called the point estimator. Since x bar is a single number, there is a single number only. By using that one, we are estimating the population parameter mu. By using random sample mean x bar, we are estimating the population mean. Okay. Yeah, all of you see this one, point estimator. The statistic whose value is used as the point estimate of parameter is called a point estimator. Is called point estimator. See in the previous definition already explained that one. Then the sample mean x bar is called point estimator. Which value we are using, that is called estimator. Okay, we are using random sample mean. The random sample mean we are using, this x bar is called point estimator. Okay, and when you are using random sample data and we are estimating population mean, okay, sometimes you can get error. Always we won't get exact value of population parameter. Okay, we'll get some error. Okay, we'll get some error. Okay, see here the maximum error of estimate. To examine the error between the sample mean x bar and population mean, this is the error. Okay, that is the error. See, generally in real life example, I will give one example. Generally we'll see the newspaper. On newspapers, some bikes company, Honda company is there, okay, that will give Activa, okay, the mileage is 60 kilometers, okay, per liter, per liter. How they will say this one, this value 60? Yeah, the company is producing a large number of vehicles, that we consider as population, okay. Suppose that is producing 1 lakh, okay, 1 lakh that is produced, 1 lakh bikes, okay. They can't measure, they can't check each and every bike mileage, they can't check each and every bike mileage. They taken some samples, okay. By using that sample data, randomly they will take one bike and they will check that bike is giving 60 kilometers per liter. Based on the data, the company is saying about the Activa bike, the average mileage is 60 kilometers per liter, okay, 60 kilometers per liter. They're estimated this one. How they estimated? By using random sample mean, the random sample mean, okay. By seeing that ad, somebody purchased a bike, but they are getting only 55 kilometers per liter. They're getting some not up to the mark, okay. They will get some error. That error is denoted by like this one, sample. This is a sample, x bar minus, actually the company population, they given the population mean is equals to 60, okay, that is mu. Somebody got 55 when they are purchased that bike, okay. Some difference is there. Somebody will get more than 60, 61, 62 also they will get, okay. Exactly we won't get that value. Sometimes you can get error. The error is denoted by x bar minus mu, x bar minus mu, okay. That is the error for large samples. Now all of you see here the point estimator. A point estimator is a statistic for estimating the population parameter, that is denoted by theta, and it will be denoted by theta cap. So this is the actual parameter and this is the estimated parameter. Theta cap is estimated parameter. This is the actual. Actual, this is the estimated. The estimated parameter is denoted by theta cap. Estimated parameter is denoted by theta cap. Okay, just remember that notation. Yeah, one is the estimate power point estimator, and second one is the interval estimate. Okay. Now all of you see the definition interval estimate. Even the most efficient unbiased estimator cannot estimate the population parameter exactly. Okay, we can't estimate exactly what is the population parameter. We are getting some error. In such case, they assumed better to find in between the points, in between the points, like this one. That is called interval estimation. This is the actual population mean. Exact value we are not estimating. Okay, sometimes better to evaluate interval estimated. Okay, just now I given bike example. Okay, somebody purchased, some X person purchased the Activa bike. Uh, some of friends, they asked, what is the mileage? Okay, they will say that 40 to 50. Okay, 42 or 45. Okay, that will give 42, minimum 40 and maximum 45, 40 to 50. They will set the range. That is the interval. Okay, this type of estimations are called interval estimations. Interval estimations. Okay. So instead of point estimate, okay, it is preferable to determine an interval, okay, interval within which the value of the parameter. Such interval is called interval estimate. Interval estimate. Okay. Now I hope all of you understood. Just now I given one example. Always we can't say the bike is giving exact mileage. Okay. Sometimes that will give for 55 kilometers per liter, sometimes 50, sometimes 52, like this one. Okay. In such cases, we say that that is giving mileage 50 to 55 or 45 to 50. We'll say some interval that is called interval estimation. Interval estimation. Okay. Yeah, all of you see that one. An interval estimate of a population parameter theta is an interval of the form okay, theta suffix L cap less than theta, okay, less than theta suffix U cap. This is the actual parameter. This is the actual population parameter. Okay, we are estimating. This is lies between, okay, 1 less than, okay, the theta between some 3. These are the values. Okay, these are the values. Okay, for from the sampling distribution of theta cap, we shall be able to find, see this one, we are finding this one. These are the values. Okay, this is called lower bound. That's why we denoted suffix L. This is the lower bound of actual parameter theta. Okay, actual parameter, population parameter is theta. For that one, we are finding lower bound. The lower bound is denoted by theta suffix L cap. This is the estimator. Cap means estimator parameter. And upper bound is denoted by theta suffix U cap. Okay, for this parameter, this is the lower bound. Okay, lower bound, and this is the upper bound. Okay, this is the upper bound. That is the upper bound. Okay. And see here, probability of theta L cap less than theta U cap is equals to 1 minus alpha, where alpha is lies between 0 and 1. 0 and 1. This means how much confidence you are telling. This is a confidence. Okay, confidence. Confidence level. Yeah, just now I given one example. I will discuss same example. Somebody purchased Activa bike. Okay, some of one friends, they ask what is the bike mileage. They'll say 90% or 95% that will give 50 kilometers per liter. 95% they are telling. Okay, not 100% or 90%. See, this is the confidence. That is this value. That is the confidence. Yeah, I'll give you a real life example. Somebody wrote exam. Yeah, how many marks you can score? Okay, somebody asked how many marks you can score. They'll say 90 or 99, 95% I will get out of 100. 80 marks. See, that percentage is called confidence. Okay, that percentage is called confidence. Here 1 minus alpha is the confidence level. We'll discuss that one later. Okay, yeah, see here, the interval u sorry, theta l less than or less than theta less than theta u cap, okay, computed from the selected sample is called 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval. See here, how much the percentage you are telling, that is the confidence interval. Confidence interval, just now I given one example. Okay, 1 minus alpha is called degree of confidence. Degree of confidence. Degree of confidence. And the endpoints theta L and theta U cap are called lower and upper bounds, upper limits. Theta L is called lower limit and theta U is called upper limit. Theta U is called upper limit. As for today, we'll finish the theory part. Tomorrow onwards, we'll discuss the problems. Okay. Now see here, thus, when alpha is 0.05, that means alpha is 5%. That means we have 95% confidence. 95% confidence interval. 95% confidence interval. Just now I give an example. You completed one exam. One of your friend asked how much score you can get. 95% I will get 80 marks. There is a 95% confidence. Okay. And see, when alpha is 0.01, that is 1%. That means what is the remaining? Out of 100, 99. 99% confidence interval. Okay. These are definitions and the notations we have to remember. Yeah, maximum error already I explained that one. Okay, once go to this one, maximum error. Just a minute. Yeah, see here, all of you remember that formula. For large sample, large n, the random variable x bar minus mu by sigma by root n is a normal variate approximately. Normal variate approximately. Okay. Then the probability is denoted by P of minus Z alpha by 2 less than Z. This is a random variable, normal variate. Okay. Normal variate, that is equals to, okay, x bar minus mu by sigma by root n is less than Z alpha by 2, that is equals to 1 minus alpha. See here, we mentioned that one. Z is x bar minus mu by sigma by root n. All of you know the notations. X bar is the sample mean and mu is the population mean and sigma is the population standard deviation and n is the sample size. Sample size. See here, we'll get this one. Just substitute the Z value. And see here, see this is the normal curve. That is the normal curve. Okay. See, this percent area we are accepting. This is called confidence interval. Confidence interval. Yeah, remaining 5% that is divided into two things. Okay, here alpha by 2 and alpha by 2. Suppose we are telling 95%. Okay, that bike will give 95% 50 kilometers per liter. Just now we discussed one example. The remaining 5% that is divided into two parts. This is alpha. 5% means alpha value is 0.05. 0.05. Alpha by 2 means 0.025. 0.25. This much confidence you are telling. 95% my bike will give 50 kilometers per liter. The remaining 5%, okay, that we don't know. We are rejecting that one. Okay, that 5% is divided into two things. This is alpha by 2. This is also alpha by 2. Okay. Yeah, once all of you see this one, multiplying each term in inequality by sigma by root n and subtracting x bar. Just now we saw that one probability, that is probability of minus z alpha by 2 less than x bar minus mu by sigma by root n z value, that is less than plus z alpha by 2, z alpha by 2. Same equation we are writing like this one. Okay, first we are cross multiplying with this term. Okay, after that we are adding or we are subtracting that one. See, from this one you can get once all of you check. First multiplying each term in inequality by sigma by root n. After that we are subtracting x bar. After that we are subtracting x bar from each term and multiply by minus 1. And multiply by minus 1. You can get this statement. Once all of you see that inner part, all of you see the inner part. What is the meaning of this one? See here, the actual population mean is lies between this value and this value. That means for this population parameter mu, we are finding lower and upper bound. This is a lower bound or lower limit, and this is a upper limit or upper bound. See here, actually what is our aim? We have to estimate this population parameter. For estimating that one, this population mean in this interval A to B. Just now we discussed one example. My bike will give mileage 42, okay, 40 to 50 kilometers, 40 to 50. Okay. Yeah, see, all of you see, this is the very, very important formula. Yeah. These are the formulas for finding confidence interval. As all of you remember that formula, confidence interval of mu, population mean mu, when alpha is known. Alpha is known. See here, if x bar is the mean of a random sample size n, from the population with known variance sigma square, a 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence for mu is given by, as per this is the very, very important formula for finding confidence interval. Confidence interval. And the formula is x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n less than mu less than x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. That's how we'll get this one. Okay, z alpha by 2 is the normal variate value that we can get from normal distribution table. Normal distribution table you can get depending on alpha value. Z alpha, that is minus or plus, you can get that value depending on alpha by normal distribution table. By normal distribution table. Okay, otherwise we'll give that one table values will provide. Okay, yeah, I'll have to see that one. Where z alpha by 2 is the z value, living area, okay, and area of alpha by 2 the right. Okay, don't you worry about how to find these values. We'll discuss later when you're doing problems. That value you can get from normal distribution table depending on that alpha. Depending on that alpha. Yeah, all of us see that next formula. So the maximum error of estimation, that is denoted by E. The maximum error is denoted by capital E with 1 minus alpha probability is given by this one. As all of you remember these two formulas. Maximum error, capital E. Maximum error is denoted by capital E, that is equals to Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. Sigma by root n. Okay. And this is the confidence interval. Okay. 1 minus alpha percent. 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval formula. The same formula can be written as like this one also. See here, the same formula. X bar minus capital E less than mu less than x bar plus capital E. See, what is the capital E here? Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. This is called maximum error. Max error. Okay. Max error. See that formula they given here. Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. As all of you remember that formulas. Okay. Now this is maximum error for large samples. Large sample. See here. For large samples, the maximum error capital E is equals to, okay, Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n, where n is greater than or equals to 30. We'll use this formula when the sample size is greater than or equals to 30. All of you remember that formula. Yeah, okay. Now all of you see the sample size, how to find the sample size. This formula is also important. Okay. So when sigma and maximum error capital E is known, then the sample size is given by this one. Just now we discussed maximum error formula. Capital E is equals to Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. From this only you can get. See, actually what is our aim? I want to find the sample size. N is here. Just cross multiply that one. Just cross multiplication of that one. See here. Send this n to this side and e to that side. What we get? Okay, root n is equals to Z alpha by 2 into sigma by E or not. Now, actually, I want to find sample size. The sample size small n is equal to, now taking square root of that one. Yeah, square on both sides. Z alpha by 2 into sigma by E whole square. The sample size small n is equals to Z alpha by 2 into sigma by E whole square. See, this is the important formula. Till now, we discussed three formulas: confidence interval, maximum error, and the sample size. Okay, all of you remember that formulas. These are the formulas for large samples n greater than or equals to 30. Greater than or equals to 30. See, for small samples, how to find that one? The sample may be small sample also. In such case, how to find, we'll discuss now. Okay. So the maximum error of estimate for small samples. Small samples means n is less than 30. N is less than 30. Small sample. We use S. S is the sample standard deviation. S is the sample standard deviation. Okay. When sigma is known, T can be used to construct the confidence interval for population mean mu. Population mean mu. Then the probability is given by probability of same thing. Just now we discussed now for large samples. For large samples, what is the probability? Probability of minus Z alpha by 2 less than Z less than Z alpha by 2. That is equals to 1 minus alpha. Yeah, 1 minus alpha. Same thing, instead of Z, for large samples we have to use Z. For small samples we use T. See, that's why we use, see, same thing. Probability of minus T alpha by 2 less than capital T less than T suffix alpha by 2 is equals to 1 minus alpha. This is the 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence. See, you can get this T alpha by 2. There is a T value that you can get from T distribution with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. N minus 1 degrees of freedom. That's what not to worry about. We'll provide the T distribution tables. Okay. And we'll discuss how to find T values also. Okay, no need to worry about. Just remember that formula for small samples. Okay. Today we'll complete the total theory part. After that, tomorrow we'll discuss the problems. Okay, now substitute T value here. Same thing. Okay, in previously for large samples, n greater than or equals to 30, what is the Z value? X bar minus mu by sigma by root n. Okay, for small samples, n less than 30. In that case, we'll use the T. T is equals to X bar minus mu by, instead of population standard deviation, we'll use sample standard deviation, that is S. S by root n. So just we are substituting that value here. X bar minus mu by sigma by, S by root n. S by root n. Same thing. Just how we find the interval. Same procedure. Multiplying each term in inequality by S by root n and subtracting x bar from each term and multiplying with minus 1. We obtain the statement. Okay, from this one. Okay, in larger samples we did the same thing. Only instead of Z we'll use the T. Instead of Z will use the T. Okay. Yeah. See, confidence interval of mu population standard deviation is unknown. If X bar and S are the mean and standard deviation of random sample from a normal population with unknown variance. Population with unknown variance. That means sigma unknown. Sigma unknown. A 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval for population mean is, this is the formula. So this is the confidence interval formula for small samples. This formula also you have to remember. This formula also you have to remember. Okay. X minus T alpha by 2 into, sorry, this is S. Here also S, not sigma, because sigma unknown. The small of it, correct that one. That is, the confidence interval for small samples is X bar minus T suffix alpha by 2 into S by root n less than mu less than X bar plus T suffix alpha by 2 into S by root n. So just remember that formulas. Okay, when you're solving the problems, you can understand that one, how to get that interval. Okay, T value you can get from T distribution table with n minus 1 degrees of freedom. With n minus 1 degrees of freedom. Okay, same thing for this one, maximum error. Okay, for small samples, maximum error is this one. Maximum error is this one. E is equals to, maximum error is denoted by capital E. Capital E is equals to T suffix alpha by 2 into S by root n. S by root n. As well as the maximum error for small sample. Okay, maximum error for small samples. As well as the theory we require. Okay, when you are estimating population parameters for small samples and large samples. Once all of us see that formulas, because the formulas are important, the problems are depending on formulas only. Yeah, once all of us see, we have total 6 formulas are there. Total 6 formulas. This is the for large samples. For large samples, the confidence interval formula is this one. The confidence interval formula is X bar minus Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n minus less than mu less than X bar plus Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. So better to write down all formulas. For large samples, the confidence interval is, all of you note on that formula. Confidence interval formula is this one. And maximum error is, for large samples, maximum error is capital E is equals to Z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. Sigma by root n. And what is the n? N formula we just now we discussed. See here. The sample size small n is equals to Z alpha by 2 into sigma by capital E whole square. So these are the 3 formulas for large samples. First one is confidence interval, second one is maximum error, capital E, and third one is sample size, small n. All of you remember these three formulas for large sample. Same thing for small samples. Same thing for small samples. Once we'll see that formulas. Yeah, for small samples, this is the confidence interval formula. All of you know down. Okay, that is x bar minus t alpha by 2 into s by root n less than mu less than x bar plus t alpha by 2 into s by root n. Okay, this is the confidence interval formula for small samples. Okay, and maximum error formula is capital E is equals to t alpha by 2 into s by root n. S by root n. Okay, and similarly sample size small n. Small n also you can find. Yeah, anyone guess what is the sample size from this one? The sample size small n is equals to, okay, t alpha by 2 into s by capital E whole square. Small of you remember this formula also for small samples n less than 30. Okay, sample size formula is small n is equals to t suffix alpha by 2 into s by E whole square. Total 6 formulas are there. All of you remember that one. For large sample, 3 formulas. Small sample, 3 formulas. The first formula is confidence interval. Second one is maximum error. And third one is sample size. Third one is sample size. As far as the theory part we covered today, estimation. Okay, tomorrow we'll start the problems. Total 6 formulas are there. For small large samples, 3 formulas. For small samples, 3 formulas. All of you better to write down on one page. Easily can do the problems. And so once all of you go to that one, yeah, today we have quiz. Quiz is there. Every day you have quiz. Okay. Based on that quiz report, we'll give the attendance. For COSM, every day you have quiz. Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm telling all of you see that formulas. Based on today class only, we'll conduct the quiz. All of you once go to that formulas. Okay, total 6 formulas are there. Large samples, 3 formulas. Small samples, 3 formulas. Large samples, first one is interval estimation. Okay, interval for confidence interval formula, maximum error, and the sample size. Same formulas for this one, small samples. Yes, once all of you go to that formulas. As but this is about the estimation, the theory part we covered today. Okay, tomorrow we'll start the problems.